You have a very funny language, you know that? You know, every time we hear people talk Icelandic in the cafes where we have been, we start to kind of laugh a little bit because it's very funny. No, but first of all, I would like to thank you, the Icelandic Cancer Society, for inviting me here to Iceland. It's such a pleasure, and I'm very, very honored. It's my first time on Iceland, and I have of course been at the Blue Lagoon. Of course I have, and it was very nice. And yesterday I went to your national park, and I must say it was so beautiful. I love this place. It's stunning. It's wonderful, and I will come back. And next time I will bring some proper clothes. Because, of course, I didn't have proper clothes. I was freezing so much. And, of course, we had to buy some stupid raincoats that didn't work out well. But it was very beautiful. I think I have taken at least 1,000 pictures I can bring home. But next time I will bring my children. And I will... This is much better. This is also more like a rock star. This is not like a rock star when I have it. This is much better. But next time I will bring my children, and then I will go horseback riding, and then I want to stay here for at least a week. But well, now to the point, I have to talk about this issue, late effects after cancer, and how to move on. We only have half an hour. That's not much. Normally I can talk for hours about this issue, because there is so many things I would like to share with you. But let's see how many things I can tell you in this half an hour. It all started in 2010. I'm a mother to 3 very naughty kids, Jonathan, Johan and Jobille. I still am. I'm married to world's best husband. I'm so sorry to tell all you women that I am, but I am married to the world's best husband. He's sitting right there. And he is my executive assistant, my EA. So he is following me every time I'm going out and have a speak. Then he is with me, and I'm so happy for that. I had a very happy and very uncomplicated sexual life before I had cancer. I also had beautiful, long, curly hair. I had a very flashy title. My title was Head of Corporate Branding and Design in a big company called Covi. And I was very proud of that, and it was kind of my identity, this job and this title and all that follows, you know. I was satisfied with my life. And by the way, I had never been at the hospital. Before I start this story, I also have to say that I'm not an oncologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a fortune teller. I am Josina, and this is my personal story I want to tell you here today. So, everything went upside down one day. I felt a lump in my breast, and it was breast cancer, I was told. I was also told that they had to remove my breast because it had been spreading, the cancer. And when they told me that, I thought I should die. And I felt so bad for a very long period that I could hardly get out of my bed. I was crying a lot. It was hard for me to even take my clothes on in the morning and get up and be together with my children, eat breakfast, do normal things. And I felt like that for quite a period before I started to collect myself together. And I found out that I had to do something. I had to be a little more constructive. So what I found out that day, that Tuesday morning, was that I have to figure out how I will have my funeral. Because I knew I was going to die, and I didn't want to bother Søren about this issue. Because there was so much hospital, operation, all that kind of stuff. So I didn't want to bother him with that also. So therefore I thought, okay, will simply find everything what to do with my funeral. So I made a playlist for all the music I wanted to hear, and I also decided that I would like to be burned, and my ashes was supposed to be spread all over a forest nearby where we live. And suddenly it came in my mind, oh, I have to fill the ashes in something. An urn, of course, of urn. And then I start Googling urn on the internet, and there was a lot of funeral shops with urns, and all these urns, they were so ugly. The most horrible colors and design and everything. And then suddenly I came in mind that there was a vase I have been looking after for quite a long time. And this vase was very expensive. There was actually two. There was this small one with these big yellow stripes, and then there was this very big one with yellow stripes. And I thought, it has to be the big one I'm going to have my ashes in. And that day when Søren, he came home to me, I said to him, you know what? I have planned my funeral, and now I've been writing it all down so you know exactly what to do. And first of all, this is the playlist. I have made the playlist here. You can just download it on your iPhone or whatever you want to use. And then there's what we're going to eat, where my ashes is going to be spread. And then, of course, there is the urn. Very important thing. And he was looking at me like, she is crazy, that woman. And then I told him about that it was not going to be the urn that you buy in the funeral shop, because that urn is just too ugly. But you have to buy this special vase. You can buy it here downtown, but not the small cheap one with the stripes. The big expensive one, that is the one my ass is going to be in. And he looked at me as if I was crazy. And I must say I was, because I was pretty much messed up in my head. Really messed up in my head. I had 6 times of chemotherapy. And I was told that I was going to have anti-hormones as well. I also found out that I wanted to have a reconstruction of my breast. So I had a reconstruction, and I was through, I think, approximately 8 operations, because everything, of course, went wrong. They gave me something that looked like a silicone breast, looked like a drop. And this drop size, it started to turn around. So, and of course it will turn around on me, of course. So why did they put it in? And they did it twice. Not a very good idea, but today I have a round one. It's much better. It looks like a cupcake. It doesn't matter. It stays there, and it can turn around as much as it will. Doesn't matter. So I'm happy for that one. But what also happened was that I, in the middle of all this, I found out that I had to quit my job. And it was not an easy decision, not at all. It was actually very, very, very difficult. And I needed some help to do it. And it was my husband who gave me a small kick in my behind and said, I think it's good for you, Josina, to just have a little time out in your life. Then I have to work for 2 persons. I will do that. But I think you will need a time out to figure out what is going to happen with you in your life. And I think it was a good idea, because I felt this, you know, the Grim Reaper, you know him? Yeah. He was, I tell you, he was so tight to my nose so I could smell him. And I could even touch him. And that was just too much for me. It was too much to know that he was just standing there, and I didn't know how long time I had back in my life. So I couldn't stand to think about that I had to go back to work, and somebody there should tell me what to do and what I should spend my time on. That was just too much. I could not. Because suddenly I was very much aware of how much time I had, and that is not forever. So I quit my job. Yeah, and then there was this conversation at the hospital, because after in Denmark, when you have had your chemotherapy, there's you have a conversation with an oncologist, and I had two. And Peter, the name was Peter, and he was sitting there with two nurses. And I remember he said to me, yeah, well, Josina, now you have been into chemotherapy for a long period, and maybe you notice that you maybe become very dry down there. And he pointed like down there, and I was aware that he was talking about my vagina. So I said to Peter, you are right, Peter. I'm very much very dry down there. And then he said to me, okay, so I also have to tell you, Josina, that now we will start on these anti-hormones. And then it won't be better. Not at all, actually. It will not be good, you know. I said, oh my God, that doesn't sound very nice, because I could feel this dryness. That was not very nice. So if it was going to be worse, it was bad. And then the next story came, and he said to me, so you have to know something, Josina. If you don't do anything about it down there, then I tell you what will happen. Then your husband, he will run away with his secretary. Okay, I said. Shocking news. That's not nice to know. But he's right, Peter. It was just the way he said it. It was very stupid. And actually, I tell you, afterwards, I called him to say that he was really a jerk to say things like that. It was very fine. He was talking about the vagina and dryness and all that. But that my husband was going to run away with his secretary, that was not okay. We had a good conversation. He promised me never to say that to a woman. Never, never, never. I was very happy for that. But it's not easy to have only one breast. Being bald and having a vagina as dry as Sahara. Not at all. Before I had this small issue if I felt a little bit sexy. And Søren, he was lying on the bed. You know, I could walk in there in our bedroom naked with my long curly hair and stand there in front of him with my two breasts, and then I could do like this with my hands. Come and get me, tiger. and it worked every time. Maybe you think it's funny, but it really worked. He wanted the tiger, and then after this cancer, then standing there with my one breast, which looked like a tea bag, a scar which was 28 centimeter long, bald-headed, dry as Sahara, down there, and saying, then it more looked like, you know, Gollum who wants the ring. I want the ring, I want the ring. And that is not very sexy at all, not at all. And he didn't respond the same way as before. So I figured out very early, in a very early stage actually, I figured out I have to do something about this. I have to put sex on the agenda. So I was wondering what was working for me, and I found out that fitness, I put fitness in a calendar, and every time I put fitness in the calendar from Monday to Friday, then I do it actually. So why not put sex into the calendar? So I decided to put sex into the calendar. So that day when Søren came home from work, he was sitting there reading the newspaper. I couldn't see his face. I said to him, okay, Søren, I have decided something. And he said, oh, well, yes, let me hear. And I said, yes, I have decided that we are going to have sex in a schedule. Okay, he said. And he didn't lower the newspaper. He was just holding it like this. And then I said, okay, and I have also decided that you can choose between Wednesdays or Sundays. And then he took the newspaper and he lowered the newspapers and he looked at me and then he said, okay, I think I will prefer Sundays. And then he took the newspapers up and kept on reading, and so was it. It was Sundays. And actually, it worked very fine for us. I know it's a little bit square, but sometimes things need to be square to be good. For me, it worked. I also had this feeling that I was looking forward to have my old life back. I was looking forward to feel like how it was in the old days. You know, everything as before, my hair, my job, everything. But I didn't get my old life back. What I got was late effects after cancer. Actually, nobody told me about that. So that was a shock, because suddenly I started to feel a lot of things in my body, in my head, that was strange, things I hadn't felt before. Some of them was the hot flushes. I'm sure some of you know them. Starting the most appropriate times, you know, in the middle of a meeting, while you're standing in a shop, then suddenly it just feels like somebody turned on the shower and you are just wet all over. I hated it. I still do. Memory loss was also a part of the game. Couldn't remember birthdays, names, things I have been able to remembering before I couldn't. Fatigue. I was tired, and I was so tired, and I am tired of being tired, because I'm tired all the time. And today I need my nap. In Denmark you say when you take a nap after 12, you say, I take a morfar or a mormor. I don't know where you say. I take a granddaddy. You say that in Denmark. So I take a granddaddy after 12, if I can do it, if there's nobody home. Because it helps me to stay with my family at night, so I'm not too tired to be together with them. I cry very often. Today, when we were going around here in Reykjavik, suddenly there was a cafe playing John Lennon music, and when it started, I started crying. And that's how it is. I cry when I see the Christmas calendar, and which is not very sad at all. I'm crying when I see Disney shows. I cry all the time. And it's my daughter, when we are sitting watching TV, my daughter, she always, when we see the Disney show, you know, it could be Pluto who walks into a door, and then I start crying. And then she starts just turning her head like this. She looks at me and says, "Oh, now you are crying again, Mor." And that's how it is. I have a trick. I want to give you this trick as well. And that is that I pinch in my tie. I do like this, and then I pinch very hard. I can't do it when I'm speaking, because then people can see it, and that's very embarrassing. But I do it when I'm in a meeting, or if I'm sitting around a table. You can do it as well, because when you pinch here in your thigh, it hurts so much that you cannot think about crying. And that's much better that it hurts than to cry, you know, in the middle of a dinner party. So very often I have blue marks here, a lot of them, and that's why. But it's a trick that I also gave to you right now, so that you can use. I have muscle pains, and these pains, I feel them mostly in the morning when I wake up. I feel like an old woman on 90. It's hard to get out of the bed. And yes, I have dryness in the mouth, in my eyes, and in my vagina. And that's not nice at all. I don't know whether there's some of these things that you can say, I also feel like this. Yeah, okay. I thought it enough. Yeah. Also, these things I have told you now about how I feel is just a little bit of all the things that you can feel when you have late effects after cancer. There is a list as long as like this. So I have actually, I should be lucky. I'm the lucky one. I only have 10, but there is a lot. There's at least 100. And then in the middle of all this, I decided I have to write a book about it. I have to figure out what this is all about. And I have to ask somebody who knows more than I do. So I start to ask some professors and some doctors. And today we have a book called Senfølger efter kræft, Late Effects After Cancer, that I have with me today. Did you know that between 40 and 60% of people who have had cancer also have late effects? That's actually a lot. And I think that maybe there's even more, but it is a very high number, and that's not good. Very short about side effects after cancer. It is permanent changes caused by cancer or cancer treatment. Late effects may prove many years after the end of treatment. They can be physical, mental, or psychosocial. Many of them are chronic and affect daily life, relationship, sex life, family life, work, and quality of life. And somehow, it is important to know that you are not alone. It's very important. And that you are not crazy. Because when you start to feel all these things and you cannot find any literature about it, and your doctor don't tell you what is happening, then you really start to freak out and think that I'm being mad now. But you're not. This is normal, unfortunately. We don't know whether the side effects after cancer, they come from the treatment of cancer or developing cancer, or a combination. And actually, for me, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we actually can do something about it. So instead of keep asking yourself, why is it I feel like this? Is it because of the hormones, the hormone pills? Is it because of the cancer treatment, the chemotherapy? Or why is it? Then keep on thinking instead, I can do something about it. That's how I feel right now, but I can do something about it. It can be better. So what do you do when you are being diagnosed with late effects? Most important thing is that you respond. You do not sit and wait that it will stop, because it don't. You have to react quickly, because it is like that with these effects, that if you have something which hurts for over half a year, then it can be chronic. So therefore you have to do something about it. You have to be in control of your life, and you have to demand to be heard and be helped. You have to take charge. You have to take you simply have to be in charge of your own life, of your mind and of your body. You have to be open and honest about how you feel. And also, you have to be good to tell other people how you're feeling, because most people are not fortune tellers. Not at all, actually. You really have to tell. Nobody can see how I feel inside. Nobody can see how tired I am. Nobody can see how my muscles feel right now. But the only one who can tell about it is me. So you have to remember that you have to be in control. I'm working with this. I'm working with these words: successes, small successes. That works very good for me. A chemo brain can be trained. And the chemo brain, you know, this memory loss, it can be trained. And you can train it with almost everything, from Sudoku to memory games. You can download apps to your iPad or your iPhone or your computer with memory games that you can play, and it helps. It really helps. I tried that. I was trying for 3 months a memory game on the computer, a brain training program, and after 3 months I was so good. I was even better than my oldest kid, Jonathan, which is very, very clever. I was better than him. But the funny thing was that when I stopped this training because I thought, okay, now everything is fine, my brain works again as normal. Then I stopped all this training, and after a month we were back to square zero. So don't stop, because the brain is like a muscle. You have to train it all the time. But train it with something that makes you happy, something that you have fun out of, making a Sudoku or memory game or whatever it is. Just do something. My vagina was dry as Sahara, and so is the area around it. But do not give up on that, because sex is here to stay. It is good for the relationship. It's actually pretty nice. And it can be good again. I suggest that you go to your gynecologist and take a conversation with him or her, because the gynecologist knows exactly what you will need. Pills, creams, oils, or whatever. But don't think that if you just wait, it will go over. It will stop. You will not be dry anymore. You just have to wait a couple of years, because it will be like that if you don't do anything. So I have tried a lot of pills, creams, and almond oil, and it all worked. And I must say that it's almost as if I was 18 again. So it works. So you just go ahead and try it. And in the book I have also a long description of everything that you can use to make your sexual life better and make this vagina not so very dry. Before cancer, my medicine closet was full of creams for my eyes and my face. Today, it's not anymore. There is a full closet full of cream for the vagina, pills for the vagina, oil for the vagina, everything for the vagina. And I keep on, putting all these creams on every day as if it was my eyes. Now it's not anymore. Now I focus on the vagina. And you know what? It works. So there's something to do here. Then there is fitness against late effects. And I know that many of you hate this word, because we read it in all the women's magazine all the time. You have to do fitness. It's very important with fitness. Fitness is good. If you do the fitness, you won't have cancer. You won't gain weight. All this, and then we close our ears. And I also have to say that if there was a pill that could make it out for fitness, I was the first one who took it. I hate fitness. I really hate fitness. I hate to sweat. I hate to move. But I tell you one thing, I do it. I do the fitness every day. I do the yoga, CrossFit, TRX, all kinds of fitness. From Monday to Friday, 1 hour every day. I still hate it. Somebody says that if you do it it's just a matter of if you do it a couple of years, then you will love it. I still don't like it. Not at all. But you know what? It works. It pretty much works. And what I can see is that I sleep better. I do not gain weight as I did before. I do not have so many pain in my muscles anymore. The hot flushes, they are less than before. And I have more energy. So it works. And there is no excuses, because now I know there's a lot of you who thinks, oh yeah, but she can say it like that. She is so thin and she has been doing exercises all her life. But what about me? I have a bad leg, I have a bad foot, I have a bad hip. I cannot do all these exercises, not at all. It's only young people who can do that. But you know what? don't tell me that lie, because that's a lie. Everybody can do something. Everybody. I really mean it. There's no excuses. And you don't have to, you don't have to sign in a fitness center to do this. Less can do miracles. You can jump rope. How long time is it since you have jumped the rope? I really mean, it's actually very funny to jump rope. And if you jump the rope 10 minutes every day, you have a success. You can also, when you take the bus from work, instead of going off where you normally go off, then you go off 2 stops before. Or you can walk with the dog you do not have. Or you can take the stairs instead of the elevator. Or you can dance. God damn it, you can dance. You can put on your favorite music, and then you can dance as hell 10 minutes so you have sweat pearls on your forehead. You can do that. I know that. And you know what? If you do that every day, I promise you, you will see miracles. It helps. It's a success. And you know what? I collect successes. Successes like that, I collect every day, a little success at a time. And then I build the successes on top of each other. Then there's the depression and fear of relapse that can take up a lot of space. But do not hide your fear. It is to be managed. It's so important that you manage your fear. I think that many people think that if you take your fear and you just hide it away so nobody can see it, then it will just pass away and it won't come back. But it does. I'm sorry to say, it does. You have to do something about it. You have to visit a psychologist, a therapist, a talk group. You can take a course in mindfulness, whatever. You just have to do something. I had a very good psychologist, and I was talking with her a lot about my fear of dying. And today I'm not afraid anymore. And if the feeling is there, because sometimes it comes and visit me. Once in a while it comes and visit me. I have, this feeling. I can see a freckle on my arm. Oh my God, it's skin cancer. Oh shit, now I'm going to die of skin cancer. These feelings, they comes once in a while. But then I have some tools that I can work with, so I won't be hysterical, lying in the bed, crying with my comforter over my head. It's important to do something about it. Do not hide it, for God's sake. And then there's the workplace. You have to tell them what you need. You have to make a plan how you come back to work. Maybe it's less hours. Maybe it's you have to sit in another office where there's not so many people, so you can concentrate. But you have to tell them, because they don't know. You have to ask for understanding for your colleagues. And I'm sure that actually most people actually prefer to know how you feel, so they can help and they can do something for you. But they cannot guess. They cannot guess how you feel. And so can't your boss. So it's very important to tell how you feel and how you want things to be, so you can have a proper work life. Almost anywhere in your life will small actions make your daily life a little bit better. Small successes is something I call them. And most people are actually able to achieve them. No matter which situation you find yourself in, you can achieve these things, just small things. So no matter which situation you find yourself in, you can do something. And remember that. So that's actually all I ask you to do, is to find those small things and make successes for yourself. But do not sit down and wait that it will stop, because I'm so sorry to say it won't stop. I will finish this story even though I could keep on telling you a lot of things for the next couple of hours. But I will finish my story and say that life is full of crises. And life crisis helps to shape us. So if we acknowledge the good and the bad experiences, and let's focus on moving forward, starting with collecting these successes, I think it will be good. Because no matter what, we have to get up and move on. Thank you. Yeah, there's a question here.
Did you experience cold flushes after the hot flushes?
Yeah.
Nasty cold?
Not nasty colds, but also colds. And it's kind of the temperature in my body is just pretty much fucked up, to say it in not very nice English. But it is either I'm freezing or I'm very warm. Yeah. And I have heard many has this experience too. Yeah.
I can't cry, you know.
You can't cry?
No.
Oh, lucky you. Yeah, but that I haven't heard that one. But I would like to swap because I'm crying too much. Yeah, but it's also a problem not to cry. But actually it just shows that there is so many side effects. So many, and many of them is not, you know, on the list as well. So it's also hard to there's many more than on the list actually. So right now you can see that okay, there's a sister over here who feels the same, and that's interesting because there's many of them.
Are you still taking this anti-hormone?
Yes.
Hormones? I see. I was just wondering whether maybe, you know, we say nothing of this goes away by itself.
Yeah.
But I was sort of hoping that maybe once you stop eating these anti-hormones.
I also hope that, but I do not dare to stop. I think there's many that have this feeling, you know, they would like to stop because they feel all these pains or things, but they do not dare to do it. So I don't. But I hope it will stop. But then some people, they tell me, you know what? They say, Josina, I'm not taking anti-hormones, and I feel exactly the same as you do. So, yeah. So nobody can tell whether it's the hormones or what it is. Yeah. More questions?
Okay,
Yeah.
the last one.
How do you feel about this anti-hormonal treatment getting longer and longer, extending up to 10 years?
I must say that when I knew it was 5 years, I was like 5 years. That's a lot. And then when Søren and we came to the oncologist, and she said, "Okay, now it's 10 years." I was, "No, this is a very, very bad joke." And then I asked. I am in this Race Against Breast Cancer, this foundation, and I work together with a professor who knows everything about tamoxifen, which is the pills I take. And I asked him, "Niels, you have to tell me, do I really need to take these tamoxifen for 10 years?" And he said, "You know what, Josina? If I could decide, every woman in Denmark had tamoxifen in their drinking water. So now I do not dare to stop." But he is also very black and white. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay?
Yes.
So should we stop here?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, we better do.